Aloha and welcome to Knitted Paradise, where the needles are clicking and the yarn is squishy. My name is Lucia, and you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Pearl of the Pacific. And you can find my podcast, I don't know what that sound was, on YouTube, on Ravelry, and on my website, which is pearlofthepacific.info. And you can find the video and the show notes in all three places. And you can join the group on Ravelry, which is Knitted Paradise Podcast. And, oh, I know what that sound was. Okay. Make sure that's on silent. There we go. That was my phone. I was like, it's not a sound it usually makes, so I was very confused, but I figured it out. No more interruptions. All right, well, welcome to episode 73, everyone. Today is Sunday, May 3rd, and I hope you are all enjoying spring weather where you are. It is absolutely beautiful outside today, and so yay for spring. All right, well, let's jump right in, blow the conch shell. I wanted to thank you all for your kind words this week about the loss of our bird. We miss her, but we still have another one, as you can probably hear. She's been talking up a storm. We have the windows open, so I think she's communing with the natives outside. We've been trying to teach her to talk. I don't know how well that's going, but we'll see. I'll let you know on the progress of the talking. But she has been easier to handle, which has been nice. She was the one that was a little more skittish. My husband got her after the other one, so the other one was handled more. And so Hedwig, the one we still have, white birdie, is now being more friendly, which is kind of nice for us. So let's get into the knitting. On the island, I have some things, which I will show you. I was trying to come up with something witty to say, and it just wasn't happening. So we'll start with my homespun house bag, which I love. And I have the Autumn Fires socks by La Maison de Saba. I'm sorry if I'm totally butchering that. And it's supposed to be a candle flame pattern, but to me it kind of looks like leaves, especially in the green. So that's coming along quite nicely. And I've turned the heel, as you can see, on both, obviously. And ta-da! So these are coming along. These are going to be for my mother, who is coming to visit in the end of June. So as long as I'm done with these by the end of June, good to go. All right. And those are Knit Pig Stroll Tonal in Spring colorway. All right. The next thing is my Where's Wenda socks, which got a couple of stripes this week. These are my second ever pair of plain stockinette socks, and they are in Stray Cat sock yarn in her Where's Wally, otherwise known as Candy Cane colorway. And those just got a few stripes. I think I was here last week, so just a few stripes. And yeah, I've just actually joined the second ball of yarn, and so these are going to be real tall. I mean, I need them to be really tall, so got tons of yarn, which is good. So those are coming along. I have to finish these by August, so no rush. And it's my Where's Wally Cozy Crafting Bag. Where's Waldo? In some places he's known as Where's Waldo, and in, I think it's Europe, he's known as Wally. So some people know him as Where's Wally, and some people know him as Waldo, and so this is the dude in the stripy shirt. So, and I did get some more pieces of my Wenda costume, which was really exciting. I got the shirt with the stripes, and I got her umbrella, which I thought was going to be really hard, and then I looked on Amazon, and there's like tons of red and white striped umbrellas. I was like, okay, sounds good to me. So that was easy. The next thing is the skirt, which is going to be a little harder. And because jean skirts aren't really in right now, so makes getting one a little trickier. And then she wears a camera sometimes, so I'm going to see if I can get one of those. If not, I'll be okay. I think I'll be pretty recognizable. I mean, obviously the hair is not going to be the same, but maybe I'll wear a wig. I don't know. Trying to get all this into a wig is questionable. We'll see. Anyway, enough about that. The next thing is my Campside by Alicia Plummer out of Sun Valley Fibers BFL DK in Antler, which is this lovely natural color. And I finished the first lace chart, and I'm now on the second one. And it is going quite well. I'm very much enjoying it. I'm using my little sheepy Gelby stitch markers. Ta-da! That I get YarnCon. I got the yarn at YarnCon too. And it's going to be huge and squishy and fantastic. So I cannot wait to finish that. I don't think I'll be needing it anytime soon, but I'll have it ready for when I do need it. And that is living in my fat squirrel bag. You come to say hi, Pan? He's sitting right here. Do you want to come say hi? No? Okay. He just wants to check out the knitting. And the last thing I have that I worked on this week is Bigger on the Inside, which is a shawl by Kate Atherley out of Dragonfly Fibers Damsel in Blue Velvet. And that is it so far. Ta-da. And I finished the increase chart, and now I need to knit straight for a while and then do some decreases. Although I might extend it, I'm not sure. I have a ton of yarn left, so I have to read the instructions and kind of figure things out. I was just kind of looking at the chart, and I had read ahead enough to know that I had to do 8 repeats. So I have my doctor stitch markers. So I've got 1 through, there's 1. William Hartnell, that's his name. And, oh, why do you all flip to the numbers? They have pictures on one side and the numbers on the other one. So you can do by picture or by number. But there we go. There we go. Except for 7. Come on, turn around. So I've got all their pictures there. And so I've been putting them every time I finished a repeat so that I know that I'm now to 8. I can add Paul McGann over here. But I just haven't yet because I usually do it on my way back and haven't done that yet. So that is at a nice stopping point. I'll have to read some instructions and figure out what's going on. But I'm loving how that is turning out. And I finished some things this week. Actually, I finished them 5 minutes ago. They were so close to being done. I was like, I'm just going to finish them before I record this. So I have something set sail. So I finished my Weasley Homestead Socks by Erica Luder out of Gnome Acres House Gnome in the Ginny Weasley colorway. And it's this nice ribbed pattern. You just alternate the ribbing. And it's very stretchy, very cozy. I love how they fit. And I made them very tall, as you can see. I did the, oh, that one's super tall. I did the pattern until I reached the end of the foot, and apparently I did 1 more repeat and then did the ribbing. So, and a nice generous thing of ribbing. And I've woven in some of the ends. I've not blocked them yet. That's why they're so narrow, but they do stretch out quite a bit. So, and I love this yarn. It's amazingly squishy and lovely, and it still feels sturdy and like it'll hold up to a lot. And I like that the colors, they kind of spiraled, but not really. And so I like that. I like how they just are crazy. And this pattern works very well with this crazy yarn. So I'm very happy about those, and those will be going with my Ginny Weasley costume. So, ta-da! So those are done. I'm going to wash those probably right after this and block them. And then they will be really done, but they're done. The knitting's done. The other part takes like 5 seconds. Maybe a couple more, but you know. All right, the other thing I finished that I had showed you last week in the cast on state, literally just cast on, is my Click for Kylie hat. And this is out of Knit Picks Comfy in lilac and marshmallow. I'll let you guess which one's which. And I didn't really use a pattern. I just cast on, I think, 50 stitches, knit some ribbing, and then just alternated the stripes because I knew I did not have a lot of purple left. I mean, this is what I have left of the purple in total. Not a whole lot. So I could have made it a little taller, but I think that's probably good for a baby's head. I haven't seen a baby in a little while, so I really have no idea. But I've got tons of because this came in a 50-gram ball and this came in 100, so I've got tons of this left. And but I knew I didn't have a lot of the purple left because I used a lot of that on my aunt's hat. And so I just striped them, and yeah, I think they turned out quite well. I haven't woven in the ends yet because I just finished this 5 minutes ago too. It was so close. I was like, I'm just gonna finish it. So that's my seam there where I just twisted the colors on up. So I will weave in the ends and wash it and send it off to Kylie. If you want to know more about the Click for Kylie thing, if you watch other podcasts, you may have heard about it. But Kylie is a daughter of one of my Instagram friends who I got to meet at Stitches, which was very fun. And her daughter's doing a capstone project about the shaken baby syndrome, and she's collecting purple knit hats as part of the project to donate to her local hospital. Whatchamacallit, as kind of an awareness thing that the hospital gives them to parents with a little pamphlet about shaken baby syndrome. And so this is my little hat, which will be going in the mail to Kylie very soon. And unlike Megan of the Stockinette Zombies, I don't think this is going to fit on my head. Not even close. So this is going to be a very small baby hat, but I like it, and it's very, very stretchy. And it's cotton, so it's nice. It's actually pretty stretchy for cotton, which is nice. So that is done. And that's it for knitted items for this week. I had a convention Thursday, Friday, Saturday, which was yesterday, and I took a different knitting project each day, and those are the ones that got the most progress, obviously. So that was the Autumn Fires socks, the Campside, and the Bigger on the Inside shawls. Those were the things that went and got a lot of progress. And I'll talk more about that in a little bit. But now we have a Flora and Fauna this week. Joyce in the Ask Me Stuff thread. I forget what it's called, but it's something like got questions for me or something like that. Anyway, Joyce asked, can you talk about substituting a different size yarn than recommended for a pattern? Like instead of DK using fingering, or bulky instead of fingering, and the reverse. So see there and just talk about it. Let's see, let me collect my words here. If you're going to substitute yarn, the main thing to check is your gauge. Do a gauge swatch and find a fabric that you like and work with it. I have done a fair bit of substitutions. I talked about it in the sweater episode for my Ginny cardigan. I used slightly smaller yarn than what the pattern called for, and I just did some calculations and knit a larger size and spread out because my row gauge was a little smaller, I just spread out. I did an extra, I think, round or two between the waist shaping and stuff, and also on the sleeve. And so I just had to be a little creative. And I think you can always make it work. But you have to try a lot of things. There was an early knitting project that I was working on that I really wanted to use this bulky yarn for, and I just didn't have the right needle size. And so every time I tried to start it, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to knit really loose and it's going to be okay. And it just, every time, it was really dense and it just didn't work. And it was just, I think it could have worked if I had a larger needle size, but it was a cowl and I think it just would have been too big. But I ended up finding a different yarn and went down a couple needle sizes, and it's perfect. But what I would suggest is to just try things. If you find a yarn that you really want to use for a certain project, and you can make it work, but just try a bunch of things. Try different needle sizes, try different gauges, try holding things double. That sometimes often works, is that if you really like the yarn, but it's a lot smaller in size than the pattern calls for, try holding it double. What else can I say about that? Or if it's a larger, yeah, if it's a, okay, so if it's a smaller size, then you might want to hold it double or add extra repeats. If it's a larger one, you'll have to probably take out repeats. So like if you're doing a hat, things where size matters is really where this comes into play. On a hat, say it's written for worsted and you really want to do a fingering. You could probably do a fingering held double and knit it as written. But if you just want to do fingering, what you could do is add extra repeats. So if, you know, say you cast on 100 stitches and every 10 stitches is a repeat of the pattern. I'm just trying to make this even and easy. What I would do is just add extra repeats. So cast on, it's written for worsted. Oh, worsted wouldn't be 100, that would be maybe 100 stitches. Anyway, so if the original pattern is written for 100 stitches and every 10 stitches is a repeat, and you want to do it in a smaller yarn, you're going to have to cast on more stitches to make up for that room. So do your calculation, you know, knit a gauge swatch, try it out, and just calculate how, like, depending on how big your head is, how many stitches you need to cast on, and just make sure it fits within those repeats. So you need to cast on probably maybe 130, so you have 3 extra repeats there that you're going to add. Just make sure that you cast on within those repeats. Say, for instance, the cowl that I designed. I state up front in the pattern that how many stitches the widest stitch pattern is, because there's 3 different stitch patterns in that cowl. There's the texture stitch, then there's this kind of transition-y stitch, and then there's the triple swell stitch, the lacy stitch. And stitch pattern, I guess it is. And the transition one is the one that takes the most stitches. And so I stated up front, I said, if you want a larger diameter cowl, cast on multiples of this many stitches. If you want a smaller cowl, I don't really know why you would want a smaller one, unless you're using bulkier yarn, then you would want less, then you cast on less, but in this number of repeats, so that you know how many stitches in multiples of this number, for instance, 10, multiples of 10 stitches, so that when you're knitting the pattern, everything will work out nicely and you can just, repeat it extra times or fewer times, depending on which way you're going with the yarn, because it's written for DK. I have used a worsted and it worked. With the bulky, it would just be larger. You want to go up a needle size. That's the other thing with switching yarn sizes, is you'll have to adjust your needle size. Obviously, if something's written for a worsted and you're doing it in a fingering, you probably don't want to use a size 7 unless you want it super drapey. Then it would be okay. But if you're wanting something like a hat, you don't really want to knit that on a size 7 in fingering. It just doesn't work out unless you really want a super airy hat. But your gauge, you probably don't. You probably want a little tighter, so you might want to go down to like a 3 or something, depending on your gauge. So check your gauge. That would be my suggestion. I hope that helps, Joyce. If you have any more questions, or if anyone else has any questions about yarn substitution, let me know. All right, so that's it for flora and fauna. We've got from the mainland. I'm going to talk about some cool things that I got in the mail that are not yarn related. So that was the end of the yarn knitting related content. And if you want to stick around for some Lego and some other things, great. If not, I'll see you next week. So something that I have recently become not obsessed with, but very intrigued with, is the Rubik's Cube, which you're probably all familiar with. And I got introduced, everyone kind of knows about the Rubik's Cube, but I got reintroduced to it a few weeks ago at work when one of my coworkers had it on his desk, and we were just playing around with it. And we're like, let's look up how to solve this thing, because it would look better to, you know, display it on your desk solved. So we watched some video tutorials and, you know, found some very bad ones where someone was like, you just do this and bam, it works. And we're like, no, that's not helpful. So we found some very good ones. And if you want to know where to find them, you can feel free to contact me and I'll send you over to those excellent videos that we found. And so we finally solved it. And then I was like, you know what? That wasn't so bad. I want to see if I can do this again. So I just started doing it a bunch of times. And it was nice because it's something you can do with your hands to keep your hands busy. And it requires a little, obviously, some thinking. But it's nice to take a break from knitting and still be doing something with my hands. So like this weekend when I was at the convention and I just been knitting for hours, waiting for things to happen. So I was at this convention this weekend and for work. And there was a lot of sitting around waiting for things to happen, and then things would happen, and then I'd have a ton of work to do, you know, for like 20 minutes, and then I'd sit and wait for, you know, a couple hours. And after a while, you know, the knitting was nice, but I was like, oh my gosh, my hands are tired of knitting. I need to do something else. So I'd ordered myself last week a bunch of cubes. They came in a set, actually. So I'll show you the whole set here. So, ta-da! So we've got everything from the 2x2, 3x3, which is the normal Rubik's Cube, a 4x4, which is apparently called the Rubik's Revenge, and the 5x5, which is called the Professor's Cube. And I haven't touched the 4x4, so it still looks nice. I have solved the 3x3 a number of times, and the 2x2. And the Professor's Cube, if you notice, I've messed it up, and I've solved for the centers. So there's differences in how you solve these cubes, and I'm not going to bore you with a whole bunch of that. But it's been really fun for me to kind of play around with that and use my brain. And it's a lot of pattern recognition is what I realized. It's not about being super smart, but it's about pattern recognition and just kind of memorizing patterns. I mean, it's kind of like knitting where you memorize a pattern and you repeat it on a sock or, you know, on a pattern where it's like, okay, well, this round I do this and this round I do this, you know. For this is like, okay, this is how you solve this layer and this is how you solve this layer and this is how you solve this layer. And it's just patterns that you just have to keep doing. So that was really fun. And the other thing, so after I had played around with this a lot at work, someone handed me this, which is called a Mega Minx, which I'd never heard of. It's a 12-sided cube. Well, not cube, hedron. 12-sided thing. And is crazy. It's not completely dissimilar to solving this. Like, you still start with, you know, a layer and then kind of work your way down. And a lot of the methods and stuff that I use on this work on this. But it's very crazy. And I spent probably 3 days trying to figure out how to do it. And I get one surface, and then I get another one, and then I get another one, and then I do a third one and mess the first one up, and I have to go fix it. And so it was a long process. I still don't really know how I do half of it. I just kind of play around with it, and somehow I get things in their place, and then I mess other things up, and then I have to go fix them, and it's kind of intense. So, but it's really fun. So that's what I've been playing around with lately. So I got those in the mail this week just in time for convention, which was kind of fun. All right, so that was from the mainland. Now we got from my holiday. I have some cool Lego thing to show you. Where'd my husband go? He's going to hand it to me. But before that happens, I'm going to show you this. This might be a clue of where the set comes from. If you've seen the Lego movie, you will recognize this. This is the double-decker couch that Emmett comes up with. This is his grand idea. It's like, everyone can sit on the couch and watch TV and be buddies. I think it's a great idea. So, this is the couch. It does come with the set I'm going to show you. And this is another clue. We're just working on clues here. This is Metalbeard, the pirate, with his pirate ship. So he has a shark on one hand and a cannon in the other, and a chest, where his chest would be, and a peg leg, and he's got an anchor. So I guess you can anchor him down so he can't go anywhere. So this is Metalbeard, and I'm showing that to you because, dun, 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 this is his ship, the Sea Cow. And it is giant. So as you can see on the front there, there's a cow. And this is the ship that sails around Cloud Cuckoo Land, defending the master builders and the people that live there. So that's how Metalbeard lost many of his limbs, was fighting against evil Lord Business. And lost some limbs, so he replaced them with many other things. So this is the ship. It is very large and very fun. And you can see they've got some propellers here on the back. Ooh, there's like 3 propellers. We got all sorts of crazy things going on here. And the rudder, and you have Metalbeard's chair up here, and you can steer the ship. What do we got? Oh, here we go. Now we can look inside the cabin. So you can see inside the cabin there. There's a lot of detail in here. Won't light cooperate. So there you can kind of see inside. And it's kind of hard. It's very large. Oh, there's the telescope on the back too. The lookout. Sorry, I'm covering it. There it is. So it's really fun. And up on the top here, let's get it down far enough. You can see the crow's nest. Is that what this is called? Yeah. Crow's nest. Oh, and here's another lookout over here. So we've had this set out for a little while, so it's got a little bit of dust and cat hair, but it's been fun. I'm hiding behind it. Oh, so it is very large. And the middle comes out, doesn't it? You can take the center stuff out. Ta-da. Oh, there we go. I don't know if you can see the cannons in there. So there's a whole inside to that as well. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see. Oh, it's really dark. I don't know. Sorry, the light's not cooperating. But there's a whole slew of cannons and looks like gunpowder storage and the thing to twist for the anchors. Oh, that's that too. Oh, okay. Ta-da! You can twist it from up here, so you can pull the anchors up and down. So, ta-da! Here's the Sea Cow. I hope you enjoyed it. Oh, look! Now that I took the center mast out, I can put my face in the middle. Hello! So, oh, these also come with it. These are some of the
micromanagers.
Oh, micromanagers that evil Lord Business sends out to capture the bad guys. What he thinks is the bad guys. We know they're the good guys. So, those also come with it. So, I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to pass this back very carefully. Ta-da! Luckily, it's Lego and can't, like, break it and put it back together. That's kind of the point of it. So, with that, I think I will say goodbye for this week. I hope you all had a good one. Oh, there was something else I wanted to talk about. So this morning, my husband and I sang at choir, as we usually do. But today was a special event where we've been building, or I'd say we, like I've been there, building this thing. No, I haven't really had any part in it whatsoever. Other than singing for the opening of the new Welcome Center for the Baha'i House of Worship for North America. So if you drive down Linden Avenue, and you can see that the building that they've been working on since I moved here like 4 years ago or so, is now completed and open, and you can go in. and it is a amazingly stunning building. You walk in and there are windows from the floor all the way into the ceiling, like this huge skylight, and they frame the house of worship absolutely beautifully. So I'm very excited that it's now open. Today was the dedication and like the official opening of it. So it's now open to the public, and you can come in and see. There's lots of information about the Baha'i faith. There's lots of information about the temple and kind of its history, and it's very cool and very well done. And you can play Where's Waldo and find my picture in there somewhere. So that's where I was today. So we had a big work convention and then this opening, and it was a very exciting weekend. But I'm very glad it is over and that I can now work normal business hours. Apparently Hedwig is very excited about it too. So I just want to let you all know that you can, if you live in the area or if you happen to be in the area for any reason, feel free to stop by. If you are in the area and you are riding the CTA, particularly the purple line, I think the red line also has them, there are some ads, and I feel very famous because I'm actually in the picture of the ad. It's a picture for the Choral Festival that is coming up in the end of May. It's the Memorial Day weekend. It's that Sunday. And there are people from all over the world coming to sing in a gigantic choir. And it's very exciting. We've already started rehearsing for it. And so there's an ad for it on the CTA, and also to announce that the Welcome Center is now open. But the picture is from a couple years ago, where we took a picture of the choir out in front, like on the steps in front of the house of worship. And I'm like walking by while someone's taking a picture. So there's this nice action shot of me and like my hair blowing in the wind as I just happened to be walking in front to get to my place for this picture. So this was like a not official picture, but it's been used a lot. So I'm now a model for an ad on the CTA, which is very exciting. Or the L trains. It's not really, I guess CTA encompasses more than just the trains. But so if you happen to see that, that is me. I've seen it a lot this week. At first we were like, I haven't seen any, and then all of a sudden, like every train I get on, I'm like, oh look, there I am. So that's kind of been fun. So with that, I will leave you. Have a great week, and I will see you all soon. All right, bye.